Imagine this. You're cruising down a wide American boulevard. The sun is low, chrome is glowing, and beneath you, there's enough torque to twist the planet. This wasn't the era of restraint. This was the age when luxury didn't whisper, it roared. Today, we're diving into a forgotten breed of machines. Cars that weighed as much as a small house, yet could still outrun everything in sight. These are the most brutally powerful luxury cars of the muscle era, where comfort met chaos, and elegance hid pure violence under the hood. Let's start the countdown. Number 15. Released at a time when bigger automatically meant better, the Ford Thunderbird wasn't just a luxury cruiser. It was a heavyweight champion wearing a tuxedo. Under that long, confident hood sat Ford's mighty 428 cubic inch V8, pushing out 345 horsepower and a tire-twisting 462 pound-feet of torque. Numbers that meant passing traffic felt less like driving and more like teleporting. Cruising in this thing was effortless, like your favorite armchair suddenly learned how to sprint. Paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this elegant beast could sprint from 0 to 60 in under 9 seconds. Impressive for a car that weighed about as much as a small battleship. Inside, the Thunderbird was pure future fantasy. Plush seating, aircraft-inspired gauges, power windows, locks, and seats. Luxuries that made rivals feel like horse-drawn wagons. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It was confident. And confidence, when paired with 462 pound-feet of torque, is a dangerous thing. Number 14. In 1969, Mercury brought back a legendary name for one final victory lap, the Marauder X-100. And this wasn't nostalgia. This was a full-scale flex. Under that long mean hood lived a massive 429 V8, producing 360 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. Enough power to haul its 2-ton body down the boulevard like a cruise missile in a tailored suit. But what truly separated the X-100 wasn't just muscle, it was style. Exclusive rear fender skirts, a matte black tail panel, bucket seats, a floor-mounted shifter, and enough chrome to cause sunburns. Mercury only built 5,635 X-100s in 1969, making it a rare beast today and criminally overlooked in the muscle car conversation. That's a shame, because very few cars ever blended full-size comfort, street swagger, and raw power quite like the Marauder. Number 13. The 1971 Continental Mark III wasn't just a car. It was a statement, born to challenge Cadillac's dominance. This was Ford's bold entry into the personal luxury coupe wars, and what an exit it was. Long, low, and dripping in chrome like it just left a jewelry store for giants. Under the opera windows and hideaway headlights sat Ford's massive 460 V8, producing 365 horsepower, enough to push this rolling lounge from 0 to 60 in about 8.5 seconds. Inside, it felt less like a car and more like a private club. Deep leather seats, thick carpeting, wood-trimmed everything, and yes, a Cartier-signed clock, because nothing says luxury like a timepiece that may or may not be accurate. The Mark III wasn't trying to impress racers. It was built to dominate parking lots. And it did. Number 12. The Chevrolet Monte Carlo debuted as a gentleman's cruiser. But the SS 454, that was something else entirely. Nestled under its sculpted hood was the legendary LS 454 big block V8, delivering 365 horsepower and a brutal 500 pound-feet of torque. That kind of muscle launched this luxury coupe from 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds while still looking like it just rolled out of a steakhouse parking lot with Sinatra playing on the 8-track. The 1971 model was the final true muscle luxury blend, beefed-up suspension, turbo-hydromatic transmission, 12-bolt rear axle, and SS badges that actually meant something. Inside, it was all-class, wood-grain trim, bucket seats, and an optional 4-spoke sport wheel. You didn't drive the Monte Carlo SS, you commanded it. Number 11. The 1970 Buick Riviera GS was elegance with a mean streak. This was the final year of the second-generation Riviera, and Buick made sure it went out swinging. Under the hood sat the legendary 455 V8, and with the Stage 1 option, it cranked out 370 horsepower and a neck-snapping 510 pound-feet of torque. That was enough to launch this luxury land missile from 0 to 60 in just 7 seconds. But brute force wasn't the Riviera's only trick. It had long flowing lines, a fastback roof that looked like a mafia boss's yacht, and an interior filled with plush carpets, chrome accents, and power everything. When you cruised in a Riviera GS, you didn't just go places, you arrived. Number 10. The Mercury Cougar started as a refined cousin to the Mustang, but by 1971, it had gone completely feral. The XR-7 with the optional 429 Cobra Jet V8 was pure madness, 370 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque, and a 0 to 60 time around 6.5 seconds, all wrapped in leather and chrome. The XR-7 trim added luxury touches everywhere you looked: leather seats, wood-grain dashboard, and enough shine to reflect the entire neighborhood. Opera one night, drag strip the next morning, no wardrobe change required. Very few were built with the 429 Cobra Jet, making surviving examples incredibly rare today. Number 9. This one came from a wild collaboration between Chrysler and Hurst. The Chrysler 300 Hurst took an already massive luxury yacht and injected it with pure attitude. Under the hood was a 440 TNT V8, delivering 375 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque paired with Chrysler's bulletproof Torque Flight automatic. That was enough to launch this 18-foot land carrier from 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds. Visually, it was unforgettable: white and gold paint, fiberglass hood with a power bulge, and an integrated spoiler that looked straight out of a sci-fi movie. Inside, it was peak Chrysler luxury: bucket seats, center console, and enough room to host a dinner party. It didn't need a manual transmission. This car didn't ask permission. Number 8. By 1968, Cadillac had already rewritten the rulebook: front-wheel drive, massive proportions, and now the 472 V8. That's 7.7 liters of pure American iron, producing 375 horsepower and an earth-moving 525 pound-feet of torque. Despite weighing over 2 tons, the 1968 Eldorado could still hit 0 to 60 in around 8 seconds. Inside was absolute excess: leather seats, power everything, and enough wood trim to make a forest nervous. The front-wheel drive layout wasn't just futuristic, it improved traction and interior space. No wonder the Eldorado became a favorite of the rich, famous, and unapologetically eccentric. Number 7. The Pontiac 2+2 was the definition of a sleeper. By 1966, this thing had evolved into a full-blown street bruiser. Under the hood, buyers could choose a 421 V8 with up to 376 horsepower in tri-power form. 3 carburetors, 1 mission. With the top-spec engine and a 4-speed manual, it could run 0 to 60 in about 7.4 seconds while still hauling the entire family and their luggage. Inside, it was business and pleasure: bucket seats, floor shifter, and brushed aluminum everywhere. This was the final year it stood as its own model, and it went out swinging. Number 6. When Oldsmobile unveiled the Tornado, jaws hit the showroom floor. Front-wheel drive in 1966 with 385 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. That's like strapping a jet engine to a snowmobile and hoping for the best. And somehow it worked. Thanks to a revolutionary transaxle, the Tornado put all that power to the front wheels and still launched to 0 to 60 in about 8.2 seconds. Its long hood, hidden headlights, and razor-sharp fastback made it look like it arrived from the future. Motor Trend named it Car of the Year, and it still turns heads today. Number 5. The Mercury Cougar GTE was Mercury's way of saying we can do muscle, but make it classy. Under the hood lived Ford's legendary 427 side Oiler V8, the same engine used in Shelby Cobra's and Le Mans' winning GT40S. 390 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque launched this luxury coupe from 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds. Only 357 were built with this engine in 1968. Rare, elegant, and absolutely lethal. Number 4. The 1969 Pontiac Grand Prix SJ was a transformation. No longer just a cruiser, this was a muscle-bound luxury missile. The 428 high-output V8 delivered 390 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque, launching it to 60 in 6.7 seconds. It rode on a unique chassis that improved handling without sacrificing comfort, and yes, it had the longest hood ever fitted to a Pontiac. Subtle? Not even a little. Number 3. The Plymouth Sport Fury GT 6-pack was stealth perfected. 3 Holley carburetors, a massive 440 V8, 390 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. From a distance, it looked like a country club cruiser. Up close, pure Mopar menace. Only 66 were ever built. 66. Number 2. In 1970, Cadillac went completely unhinged. They dropped the 500 cubic inch V8, the largest production engine ever put into a passenger car. 400 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque. Despite weighing nearly 5,000 pounds, it could still hit 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds. Inside, it was a rolling penthouse. Driving it felt like floating above the road on a rocket. Number 1. The Oldsmobile Tornado W34. Front-wheel drive, 455 rocket V8, 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. A vacuum-operated air intake that opened at full throttle like a sprinter gasping for air. It launched this 2-ton monster to 60 in 7.7 seconds while still offering Cadillac-level comfort. Only about 5,341 were built. Luxury, innovation, madness, perfected. These weren't just cars, they were statements from an era when engineers didn't ask should we, they asked how big can we make it. If you enjoyed this journey through forgotten luxury muscle, tap that like button like it owes you money, drop a comment telling me which one you'd drive home tonight, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next ride, because the road ahead only gets louder.